Welcome to The Real Authority. Today I'm talking about, whoa, new chair by the way. I used to have just a bench to sit on, but my sister lent me this very comfortable chair, so if you see me leaning back much more effectively, that's why. Anyhow, today I'm talking about Voicemails for Isabelle, the brand new rom dramedy that just dropped on Netflix. Written and directed by Leah McKendrick, who wrote and directed Scrambled, and if you need a more famous example, she wrote last year's I Know What You Did Last Summer. Say what you will about it, but I mean, cool. And I'm going to try to keep it simple because it's a rom-com, plus it also has a very simple premise, and also this is my 4th video in a row, like 4 days, and I posted 4 videos, 5 if you count shorts. So yeah, I'm going to try to keep it simple, sweet, hopefully under 5 minutes. Let's go. Jill, played by Zoe Douche, is this aspiring chef, but she also has to deal with the fact that her sister had just passed away. However, her phone number was actually reassigned to this dude, Wes. Literally far from her, and when Wes realizes, hey, the voicemails Jill's leaving are actually really charming and cute and honestly emotional. So he decides to go from Texas to San Francisco in order to, well, actually meet the person he's been hearing about. Even with that huge asterisk, maybe they could fall in love. Starting off with the positives, Zoe Douche and Nick Robinson really do have a lot of chemistry together as Jill and Wes. I mean, this is a rom-com. You hope for 2 leads who basically light up the screen together, and I do feel both do an effective job. Like, even with that huge asterisk hanging above their relationship, I do feel both of them sell the emotional and dramatic moments as well as the romantic moments pretty well. Like, I do have issues with the screenplay, but I do feel the actors sift through it with the right amount of charisma and right amount of confidence. So they are absolutely the stars of the movie, and they are definitely the thing that's carrying it for me. With that said, I do feel like Leah McKendrick's directing and screenplay, well, I'll get to the screenplay in a minute, but I do feel like her direction's really good. I mean, with her last movie, Scrambled, it kind of ran into a lot of issues in terms of directing and screenplay, and I do feel those issues transfer over here, but by no means is the directing bad. I really do feel it was vibrant when it needed to be, dramatic when it needed to be. It's basically a simple rom-com, and I do feel like McKendrick understands the assignment for the most part. I do feel like at an hour 50 minutes, it can run a bit long, but it does have mostly solid pacing, which you would want from a rom-com, especially one that's, I guess, streaming on Netflix. You could sit on your couch and hopefully enjoy a film. It is a shame, though, that the rom-com genre kind of died in theaters. I am excited for one night only, but I would like more. Even if the movie isn't exactly of quality, I'm still excited to see a rom-com movie in theaters. But sure, I could stave off with a streaming film, and this feels more like a theatrical film than your average streaming film. Then again, rom-coms have kind of been alive and well in the streaming landscape, especially Netflix. I don't know, I felt like the pacing for the most part was just effective, getting you in and out, but leaving you with enough joyful and heart-wrenching moments to just satisfy. Also, by far the best part of the movie is probably the first 15 minutes. Not to say the rest of the movie is bad or anything, but I did feel the movie was in its zone in the first 15 minutes, and after that, it does find its footing, but it does take a bit of time to, I don't know, come together. I guess the main issue I have with this, because this is pretty much a simple movie, and I'm gonna try to be as simple as possible about it, is the screenplay from Leah McKendrick. Again, Scrambled, her previous directorial effort. It wasn't perfect, but it got the job done, and I do feel that same, like, quality is present here. Like, yeah, it gets the job done, but it does, unfortunately, take a few shortcuts in terms of making this rom-com work. I've said it before, you can use cliches as long as they're used and executed effectively, and I do feel that's this movie's main issue, despite the rest of the elements working rather well. Like, I mean, with a movie like this, especially with the huge asterisk that is a guy receiving voicemails that are not directed at him, like, that does lead to a lot of cliches, including the expected girl finds out that this is the case. Not gonna say anything more because of spoilers, but you've seen a million rom-coms before. You know it's coming, especially with a setup like that. And that kind of leaves you interested in seeing what they do, but also annoyed the fact that it takes a bit of time to actually get there. And that kind of goes for the entire movie. Like, you're definitely interested, but the character development as well as just the overall situation, like, they could have been handled and written better. But by no means is that a deal killer for me. I guess I'm just glad that the movie was, I don't know, rather enjoyable and cute, but I have to acknowledge, as a rom-com fan, this movie annoyingly used the cliches when they kind of didn't need to or shouldn't have. But it does leave off on a pretty solid note, so I will give the movie that. Not really much else to say. As a rom-com fan, I kind of wish Voicemails for Isabelle was better, like a 10 out of 10, but that's because I'm a rom-com fan. I like to see the genre thrive, and I shouldn't be mad at the cliches it utilizes, because because they've kind of been rom-com staples, but I'm just saying, it's gotten to the point where even one of the best rom-coms I've seen in a long time, Anyone But You, suffers because of the cliches. But it's simple, it's sweet, effective, cute. I may have wanted it to be something more, but it didn't need to be anything less. The Real Authority approves, 8 out of 10. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie, and let me know what your favorite rom-com released in the past, decade or so has been. Alright, peace.